Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Armada and what to buy first when you're on a budget. I'm going to be focusing on the Rebellion for Star Wars Armada. If you are a new player or you're looking to switch factions and looking to get into the Rebellion, we're going to be talking about everything that you should be looking at first when budget is in mind. I'm not going to list off every single expansion for the Rebellion. I'm only going to list some notable ones. There definitely are plenty more expansions than what I'm talking about, and hopefully you'll find this as a helpful starter or guide to kind of get you into your journey for Star Wars Armada. If you are a new person to this channel, I do talk a lot about Star Wars Armada, as well as lots of other Star Wars tabletop games and Star Wars in general, as well as just gaming and geeky stuff in general. So I'd love to have you stick around. We are doing a big $100 Amazon gift card giveaway right now that's running through Halloween. All you have to do is to be entered to win that is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. And that's we'd love to have you guys stick around. There we have links in the video description below if you want to check out our Discord or any of the other fun links that we have down there for social media and all of that good stuff. So we'd love to have you guys stick around. So if you're starting in Star Wars Armada and you're looking to get into the game, where should you begin? What do you need to get first? And I feel like there's no other place to start out than with the core set. This is a two-player core set. It is a little old. It is a little bit outdated, only because the rules have adjusted a little bit. But still, they're the rules that are represented in this box are still pretty close to the existing rules. The existing rules are not currently hosted on AtomicMassGames.com. They're out there. They were hosted on Fantasy Flight for a while. There's a rules reference forum that has rules questions, but we have the rules in like the Star Wars Armada Facebook group, and it's just it's in a weird spot right now where there kind of are no rules, but no, there really are. They're in a 1.5 rule set right now, but the rules that come in here are close enough to get you playing. Now, this is a two-player starter set. It does have the Empire and the Rebellion. You have two Rebel ships, a Nebulon B and a CR-90 versus a Victory Star Destroyer. So this will allow you to start playing with a friend, at least like a sample tutorial game, and kind of open the door for you to add more ships, add more squadrons. You're also going to get a couple of X-wing fighter squadrons in this box as well. Everything you need to get you started. You've got some dice, you've got a movement tool, you've got range tools, you got tokens, some scenario or objective cards, and all of that. You may eventually want to get an extra dice pack, an extra maneuver tool once you've learned the game, because the dice that come in here usually aren't enough. You typically, over time, players will want to get a little bit more of those extra peripheral things to get them playing and get them a little bit more easily playing. But definitely, this is where you start for the Rebellion. Hopefully at some point we'll see newer updated starters and maybe faction specific starters, so you won't have to buy a Victory class Star Destroyer for the Empire if you're only interested in playing Rebels. But there's also a lot of value for a two-player starter, because it does allow you and a friend to learn the game together and then to swap. Oh, I'll play Rebels this time, and next time you can play Rebels, and things like that. The next thing I'm going to suggest is the upgrade card collection. This is a collection of upgrade cards for every expansion all the way throughout up until the Clone Wars that have been points adjusted, errata, and all of the changes that kind of went into the Armada 1.5 rule set are reflected in this. It also has basically all of those different commanders for the Rebels and for the Empire, a lot of upgrade cards, and basically everything that might have only come in like one or two expansions, that you don't have to buy a whole ship just because it came with a turbo laser upgrade that you really wanted, or something like that. It's got a ton of cards. It's got all of the commanders, and it means that you don't have to prioritize different ships out of order and all of that. Plus, there's a lot of cards in here that are going to upgrade the ships you already have in the core set. So this is just an excellent purchase to make. These have sometimes been hard to find. So if you have one of these in your local store, definitely pick this up. You don't necessarily have to order it online, but if you can't find it in your local store, definitely head over online. It does look like the store.asmodee.com does happen to have these in stock, at least while I'm making this video. As of today, they do. But who knows tomorrow? So, very important buy right here. As you become more and more ingrained in the game, you may want to pick up a second one of these to have even more copies of existing cards over time, especially for larger games. But for your standard games, one copy of the upgrade card collection is sufficient. Although I personally have 2 copies of it because I like to really double, triple, and even quadruple up on certain upgrade cards. And this one, having 2 copies will allow me to do that. Now, moving forward, before we get into which ship and squadron expansions to buy, I want to say that these are just some general recommendations from me. The order isn't as specific. I'm going to talk about quite a few, but not necessarily all of the expansions. And I think it's important when you're getting into the game to let your passions and your flavors sort of drive you. So if you're a big fan of Nebulon Bees, then get those first. If you're a big fan of the Starhawk, then get that first. Get whatever you want to get first, because if it's gonna be a ship that you enjoy, then that maybe canonically or thematically you enjoy, then it's definitely something I think you should run. Like if you're trying to build the fleet from the Battle of Endor, all right, you've already got some of those ships, and maybe you should get a Home 1 expansion next or something like that, even if it's not, high up on my list, for example. There's definitely, the game is balanced well enough that just about every ship is viable and good. And so everything is fine, especially for casual games. And you're probably not trying to go to the World Championship tournament if you're just getting into the game. So don't worry too much about what's super awesome, and but focus more on your enjoyment of the theme and the beauty of this game first and foremost, beyond what I recommend. But with that being said, I will go ahead and recommend some things. So the first ship expansion I will recommend is the Assault Frigate Mark II. Now, this is maybe one of the ugliest ships in the game, regarded by a lot of people to be that way, myself included. It is not a pretty ship, and it's not seen by many as a very Star Wars-y ship. Now, certainly it was in some of the old video games. It definitely has existed in the EU for a very long time, but the Assault Frigate Mark II, kind of looks like a potato in a lot of regards. It's just not, it's not something that we've seen on screen, at least in the films, at least not in the forefront. Maybe it's hiding in the background of Episode 9 somewhere. It still hasn't been found. But it's such a well-designed, mechanically well-designed ship is for how it fits into the game. It's a medium ship. It's actually the only medium-based ship in the game, and it can serve a wide variety of roles in the game. It can kind of do everything. It's pretty fast for a capital ship. It is maneuverable. It has respectable firepower. It has good titles that allow it to function as a carrier or as a gunship. It can also function as a flagship. It is moderately defensive and can protect your commander very well too. It does a little bit of everything, and a lot of things at least moderately well. And so it's just a very, very good ship. It fits in just about every Rebel fleet, every different type of fleet archetype that you can make. This ship has a role to play in it. So I just think it's a very, very good ship, and its point costed very, very well. And if it were a better looking ship, it would probably be the most popular ship in the entire game. But I think the one biggest weakness that this ship has is that visually it's not very appealing to a lot of players. And since, for some, Armada is very, very much about that thematic and visual appeal, that sort of cinematic combat experience that it can create on your tabletop. This ship is often overlooked because of that fact. But don't let the looks fool you. It's a very good ship, and I really like it, especially with Admiral Akbar. But not only with him, he's good with a lot of folks. Next up, get some more Squadrons. is what I'm going to recommend. You have a lot of choices and when it comes to squadrons, but I would recommend starting with the classic Rebel Fighter Squadrons pack. Now, this is going to give you 2 of each of the the alphabet squadrons, or so they call them. You're going to have 2 X-wings, 2 Y-wings, 2 B-wings, and 2 A-wings, or A-wings, B-wings, Y-wings, X-wings. Right? You're getting all of those. Everything that you saw in the Battle of Endor, you're going to be getting in this pack. Well, with the exception of the Millennium Falcon, I suppose. But yes, you're getting 2 X-wings. You already have 2 X-wings, but you're getting at least a new pilot in there, which is a cool thing. You're also getting the most popular Rebel squadrons in this pack, and also the price is pretty low. The X-wings are good, but the B-wings are really good bombers. The Y-wings are pretty good bombers, but they're cheap. The A-wings are extremely maneuverable, and they have counter, and you're getting a really good ace pilot in there too. And so out of this pack, really, I think your best bang is your B-wings for bombers, and your A-wings for interceptors, and basically for escorting and occupying enemy squadrons. So you're getting really good squadrons in this pack. And also very recognizable and iconic squadrons as well. So I kind of recommend going for this one first. Next up is another ship expansion. This is the only flotilla available for the Rebel Alliance. It's the Rebel Transports, those GR-75 Rebel Transports. Now, if you are new to the game, what do I mean by flotilla? Well, a flotilla is a special type of ship that actually has multiple ships on a base. As you'll see here, this is kind of how it looks. It's meant to be ships that were a little too small to be a single ship on a base, which these are pretty small as far as the Rebels are concerned. So they decided to put multiples on one base. And it's called a flotilla because they have some special rules that they can't actually ram and do damage to other ships. But they're very cheap as far as their point cost in the game, but they are excellent support ships. And they also fit extremely well into every Rebel fleet. So whatever else you've already bought, if you've already picked up some things, you're always going to have a spot for Rebel transports in your fleet. Now, I will say that in a standard 400-point game, you are only allowed 2 of these, 2 flotillas. Now, I don't mean 2 ships because you have 2 ships on one base. I mean 2 of these expansion packs, 2 of these bases. That was not originally in the rules, but with the 1.5, well, actually before 1.5 even, but with the current rule set, there is a cap on how many flotillas you can have in a standardized game. So while a lot of players will have 2 flotillas in their collection, a lot of your builds will have at least 1 in there. But there's no need to buy 3 of these unless you're doing much larger games, or if you're just wanted to have a third one because you wanted it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But for a standard game, you'll be capped at 2 of these. But again, great carriers, great support ships, and cheap activations is all really, really good things for these Rebel transports. Not high on the weaponry, though. As a matter of fact, the cheaper version of these has no ship-to-ship guns whatsoever. So, not a gunship, but a great support ship, and definitely something I will recommend. As you're building out your squadrons, if you're also interested in the Rebel Fighter Squadrons 2 pack, this one is also, you're getting 2 of each of these different types of squadrons. You're getting VCXs, you're getting Z95s, you're getting E-wings, and then you're getting those bombers too. So basically, you're getting a little bit of a lot of different stuff in this pack as well, and it's pretty cool. It is the Lancers are the bombers that you're getting in there. And the things you're not getting any duplicates in this pack, so you might want to get this one first. I just feel like that the more iconic ships are in the other Rebel pack, which is why I recommend that one first. But again, if you're a big fan of the Ghost and Star Wars Rebels, maybe you want to get this one first. Nothing wrong with that at all. But again, you're getting a lot of squadrons in this game. Now you are capped at 134 points of squadrons, so you won't be able to run too many squadrons, but you can definitely run a decent amount of squadrons, and you're getting some different versatility in with this pack. So very cool stuff. Plus, you're getting Hera, who's really good. She also works particularly well with X-wings as well, right? She's really nice with Luke Skywalker, for example. So yeah, this is a good pack. It's also not very expensive. Again, if you're on a budget, this is a great way to do it. At this point, I'm going to start talking a little bit more about ships. I haven't gotten into too many ships yet. Just the assault frigate and the GR-75. Probably not enough ships, but ships tend to be a little more expensive. So let's talk about some ships. There's a lot of big, large ships that the Rebellion has. Big MC, the Mon Calamari ships. Out of all of those, I think I'm recommending the Profundity first. There's 2 different types of MC-80 expansions that are also available. Now, this one's an MC-75, MC being Mon Calamari design. This is the ship that was featured in Rogue One. There are other ones that are not on this list. The Home One also exists. The Liberty expansion also exists. Those are great ships too. They're fine. I feel like the Profundity is the best of the big MC ships, and it's also very well rounded and has some really cool, unique functionality that I really like in the game. And it's super cool. But again, this is one of those times where I think every Rebel, every Rebel player should have at least one large ship. Not necessarily in their fleet that they're playing every game, but you should have probably at least one large ship. And this one, the price is good. Both the dollars price as well as the points cost for it. It's balanced fairly well. And it does well at close range. It can also do fairly well at long range. It's pretty tough, it's pretty survivable, and has some interesting support options and some interesting tricks, I'd say, with the ability to kind of drop off another ship, just like you would see in the movie Rogue One. So I really like this one. The Profundity is a cool one, but I mean, any of the big MC ships are also pretty cool. Moving forward, we're still on Mon Calamari ships. The MC-30. This is a small ship, but it's a little bit larger of a small ship. Sometimes we'll call this one a small ship plus, in that it's not as fragile as a lot of the other small ships are, and it has a tremendous amount of firepower. This is a like kind of a hunter seeker. It's very fast. If it can get close to you, it has a lot of black dice. It's very, very damaging up close, while not being, not having necessarily the hull and shields of some of the larger ships. Well, this one actually does have a lot of shields, but not much hull. So if you can get through its shields, it can blow up pretty quickly, but it's going to do a lot of damage before it goes out. It's a very, very cool assassin type ship. And also, this is very, very similar to those new ships that we've been seeing from the New Republic. If you've been watching any of the newer Disney Plus series, like Ahsoka, it's not exactly the same ship, but it's a very similar design. And so if you're a fan of that, this might be a ship that appeals to you by its design. It's a very cool looking ship, the MC-30. So definitely suggest have at least one of these in your fleet. If you're also a fan of like New Republic and newer type things, this one is more expensive. It's definitely more expensive, so this one's a little farther back in the list, but it's a cool ship. And I put it on this list because even though it happens to be very expensive, it's really good. A really, really good ship. It's very, very popular too. The Nadiri Starhawk, first featured in the Aftermath series of books. The Starhawk is the New Republic's ultimate battleship that was made primarily out of pieces from broken down Imperial Star Destroyers. Not like broken down like they were destroyed, but like that were captured and sent to like breaker yards to have their, to be disassembled. And and they used the best parts to make these awesome Starhawks. Now, this is the like basically the tankiest ship in the game, at least for the Rebels. So it's definitely the biggest, strongest, tankiest large ship in the game. It has tremendous capabilities as a flagship and as a ship that has a lot of firepower as well. It's very, very good. Now, it's slow and it's expensive. You can easily spend just 140 points on just the ship itself. A kitted out Starhawk is half your list all by itself. So it's very challenging to to take one of these down, and that's a cool thing. If you're a new player, maybe you want a ship that isn't going to die very easily, and so this is definitely a great option for that. These are very hard to kill, and they have a really cool tractor beam. They can be a lot of fun, but again, the price tag is a little high, so I wanted to put them kind of in the middle of the list. because they are an extremely good ship. But so you're definitely getting a good ship for your money, but it's still a lot of money. So that's something to think about. I'm going to go back to Squadrons a little bit here. Now, we're a little bit later in the list. Squadrons are a little cheaper. The Rogues and Villains expansion pack is really cool, but you're only getting half of an expansion if you're a Rebel player. So this is for the Rebels. This is also for the Empire. You're getting the Millennium Falcon. You're also getting the Slave One. You're getting Boba Fett. You're getting bounty hunter ships, and you're getting like Dash Rendar and cool YT-2400s. Really good squadrons, but you're only going to get like 4 in here. So this is one of those packs that if you really like the YT-2400, you're probably going to need to buy like multiples of this pack. I think I bought like 5 of these back in the day. So not the best value unless you're a dual faction player. Then it's a tremendous value, and then maybe this is one of the first things you buy. Something to think about, but it's a cool way to get the Millennium Falcon. Also, I will point out that with Squadron packs, and especially this one, we've seen new things lately, and this is why I'm doing one of these in 2023. There's a Lando Calrissian who is really, really cool. If you're getting everything, and you're getting the rapid reinforcements packs from AMG, and you've also got the campaign packs, which we're going to talk about in a little bit later, you're going to see new versions of a lot of the different squadrons that come in here. There's a Lando card that is even way better than Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon. So it's a cool thing. It's something to think about. Is that when you pick up these squadrons, there's always new stuff, and there may be like a new Dash Rendar coming out, or whenever they do like their next rapid reinforcements or something like that. It's always a good idea to have at least one of every squadron, and so eventually you want to pick this one up. Well, moving forward a little bit, the Star Wars Armada Hammerhead Corvettes expansion. Now, this was the first expansion that they were putting 2 of the same ship in a single expansion, and I think had they continued to move forward, this was going to become more of the norm, to have multiple ships in a single expansion. This one was they're decent ships. They're point costed very well. They're not the most popular ships in the Rebellion, but you are getting 2 for 1 box. As prices tend to go up, I mean, they're still kind of charging you for 2, but I think you do save like $1 or 2 off of what you probably would have spent on these individually. But yeah, they're not bad ships, and I think it's kind of cool that you get 2 in a single box because they do function well in groups. So that's a fun thing to think about. The Phoenix Home was a single small ship. For example, here's just a single small ship that's 35 as opposed to 2 small ships that's 47. But I put the Phoenix Home on here because while it's not one of my favorite ships, maybe aesthetically, it's definitely going to appeal to some of those Clone Wars fans that remember this one. But also this is kind of representing its look in Star Wars Rebels. What I like about the Phoenix Home is that it has that fleet command upgrade slot that is going to allow your fleets to be able to use these nice fleet-wide command upgrade cards. And they can give you all sorts of things like extra movement abilities, extra squadron movement, extra firepower, extra shields, all kinds of cool things like that. And so functionally it gives your fleet a very cool ability, and that's an important thing. And, that's one of the only places where you can get it. I do have a Clone Wars expansion on here, which you're probably thinking, that's a little weird. Yes, I have the Invisible Hand expansion on here. I include this primarily for people who are playing multiple factions. If you're playing Clone Wars also, hopefully you have one of these that you can use. If not, or if you're thinking about getting into Clone Wars or branching into another expansion at some point, this is one to keep in mind, because this particular ship is usable with the Rebel Alliance via the rapid reinforcements free expansions that Atomic Mass Games has been putting out. There is a free card that you can download which will allow you to fly this ship with your Rebels, and it's a decent ship. It's a very weird, interesting ship that can function with a variety of different roles, works well as a carrier, or works well as a ship with no upgrades at all. Because it's got a lot of dice and has salvo and a lot of the new like a lot of the newer design aspects are on this ship. It's a pretty cool ship. And so the fact that it turns this into a dual faction ship, I didn't want to have it high up on the list because there's only one version of the ship card for the Rebels. But whenever there's a ship that can be used in multiple factions, I do think that that's pretty cool. Also want to talk about the campaign expansions. Now, I really like the campaign expansions. They have the Corellian Conflict, and there's also the Rebellion in the Rim expansion. Now, these have a lot of interesting things in them. They have, for example, we were talking about Lando. That Lando Millennium Falcon is in that Rebellion in the Rim. There's a lot of new cards that come in here that are going to augment the different things that are in the game. You're not going to be getting these Squadron cards in your other card pack, in the upgrade card collection. So these are important for that. But they're also campaigns. These are great for when you've gotten farther into the game and you've been playing for a little bit longer, and maybe you have a group that are looking to play a campaign over time. This is very cool. Where you'll save your stats. Now, each of these campaigns functions differently. The Corellian Conflict is more of this traditional standard campaign, where Rebellion in the Rim starts off with a smaller fleets and allows you to build like custom commanders and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. But they also come, each of these, in addition to coming with some extra Squadron cards and new titles in the Rebellion in the Rim, there are also new objective cards that are going to change your standard games as well. So very cool stuff. A lot of value in these packs. Even if you're not interested in playing the campaign, I still recommend getting these eventually because they are going to expand your game as a whole. And especially by the time you get into competitive play, the objectives that come out of these are very, very popular and give you different ways to build your fleet to cater to new specific objectives. So very cool stuff. And that's a lot of the expansions, but I didn't cover every single one. Again, if there's something that I didn't cover that you want to get, absolutely you should still get it. Get whatever you're going to have fun with. I just listed some notable ones and some of my favorites and things that I'm recommending to you, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments section, and also you can jump in our Discord and keep the discussion going there. Links for all that are going to be down in the video description. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see here, be sure to stick around. We're going to be talking a lot more about Star Wars Armada and all kinds of Star Wars topics and tabletop games and the future. So be sure to stick around and click that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, tell your friends, all that great stuff. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. Thank you for your continued support, and I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.